Hey folks, Sean here, and in this episode, I'm going to talk to you about how to get way more out of your advertising campaigns using AI. Now, everyone's been talking about AI and all the wonderful things that it can do. It's playing a key role in some of the products that I'm building these days because of its significant capabilities and how much more advanced it is than what we've had access to previously. But for this episode in particular, I'm going to talk more around growth and in particular advertising campaigns if that's one of the channels that you're using to grow your B2B SaaS. That's typically the primary one that I start with. Reason being is because it's traffic that I have control over. It's something that I know I can generate, and I can also often generate more or less of it on command. So that helps quite a bit in terms of validating any initial idea, whatever my solution is going to be, and ensuring that I can turn that into a business. But even after I've gone through the validation period, the ads component plays a key role in growing my product businesses, sometimes indefinitely, because I leverage them quite a bit. Now, and those inform later strategies that I'm going to invest in where I'm going to receive more growth as well too, like SEO and content marketing, primarily copywriting. Because I need to know, like, what are people searching for, right? What I need to get inside their heads, and I need to be able to produce content around that. But what I'm talking about here is a key component of most advertising campaigns that if you take advantage of, you're able to get more out of those campaigns. Now, most of the advertising campaigns will enable you to manage various combinations of the variables that go into producing whatever ad ultimately gets shown to prospects. And it's usually some combination of variables related to a headline, some type of description, perhaps a call to action, an offer, whatever it is. There's a number of different elements there. Now, what I've been working on recently is learning the latest in terms of what Facebook and Instagram can offer people like you and I when it comes to growing our B2B SaaS product businesses. And I'm going to produce more content about that because I'm running some experiments now to see how effective ultimately it can be. But in the campaigns that I just created, it gives me a number of those variables that I need to ultimately complete in order to launch the advertising campaign across those platforms. So I need to come up with things like a headline, a description, call to action, etc. So there's like 3 or 4 variables. And one of the things that these advertising campaigns have really leaned into, Google is the same way as well. They are recommending you create multiple instances of each of those variables. So 5 headlines, 5 descriptions, 5 call to actions. And ultimately what that does is it produces a larger number of combinations for you to test, right? Because how are you going to know exactly what language resonates the most with prospects? Which one is the most effective for capturing people's attention and getting them onto your landing pages, converting them into paying customers or starting free trials? Well, this is how you'll do that. This is a much more effective way to do that, and these advertising campaigns are designed around it, but most people don't take advantage of it. That's why they're always recommending you do that when you build them, because what it will do is it'll maximize the number of combinations that it will test for you automatically. So let's just say we created one advertising campaign where we had one title and one description, right? You've got only one combination there worth of testing. So if that one doesn't strike a chord for one reason or another, you're kind of SOL. Now, on the other hand, if you create 5 titles and 5 descriptions, now all of a sudden you've got 5 times 5 or 25 different combinations that the advertising campaign will test for you, which means it will cycle through those and run them different days and times automatically to determine which one is the most effective. Now, adding to that, part of what I don't always love to do is come up with all these combinations. It sounds painstaking, me just describing it to you here. I don't want to have to write 5 headlines and 5 descriptions. That is something I would very much like to delegate. Well, who do I delegate it to? Well, if you don't have anyone in your team who does this, I'm going to give you the next best thing, which might even be better than most of the experts and the help that you can get out there that you might pay for. And that's through the various AI tools, in particular the copywriting versions. But even if you just use Chat GPT, like I used Chat GPT yesterday to write a bunch of the headlines and descriptions for the advertising campaign that I'm now running on Facebook and Instagram. And what I do is I talk to Chat GPT and I give it the parameters that I'm looking for in terms of creating that campaign, as well as any of the background behind what it is that I'm selling. And you might be wondering, well, what are those variables I give them? Well, I give them everything that I'm always talking to you about. Who am I selling to? What am I selling? What problem am I solving? What value are they getting? Give them as much as I can. It's almost like if you were working directly with an agency, they would ask you all these questions and they would try to come up with combinations. But AI can do this much, much faster and much, much cheaper. So I give them all the information about the business. I will tell them what I need. I need titles, descriptions, call to actions for an advertising campaign that I'm going to run on so-and-so platform. They'll give you options back. ChatGPT will give you options back. Then you can workshop it with them even further. If what you get back you don't love, give them more direction and context or feedback in terms of how to update it. If what you get back doesn't fit, tell them what it needs to be in order to fit. Like if they give you back 100 characters and you only have room for 50, I love ChatGPT and tools like this for this purpose. It's amazing because I suck at this so bad, and these tools are so great at it. I'll say, I like headline number one if they gave me like 3 or whatever. Then I'll say, but I need that in 50 characters or less. And it will just do it. It's amazing. It saves me a ton of time, creates me a bunch of options, and I can keep going back to the well as many times as I want until I'm happy with what I have. Now, I can use that to produce as many combinations as I want, different style, emotions. They can even add emojis. It's pretty great. You can also use AI tools to create the visuals for you because it's a really important part of ads, especially if they're going to be image-based. You can use things like Midjourney to create beautiful, amazing looking photos of whatever scenario you're looking for. And what I'd recommend, something that they're expecting related to your offering or the outcome that your offering produces. Like it's going to take me from this painful scenario where I don't have any clients or whatever to this amazing scenario where I have more than enough clients. My business is growing as fast as I want it to. Whatever it is your product does to help people with that transformation that it makes, paint the picture of the pain is a powerful motivator. So that's one. And then the successful outcome is another really good one too that you can use. But the lesson here is that to really take the edge off and to level up considerably the effectiveness of your advertising campaigns, I highly recommend you use AI tools like ChatGPT to workshop the language that's going to go into them. And make sure you take advantage of the various combinations that it will manage for you because it'll multiply all those combinations together. And then over time, based on the results, it'll show you, here's the combinations that work best. Here's the ones that didn't. You can drop the losers and double down on the winners.